Okay, let's move on from there to the question of coming here to start a business. Now, there's always been a distinction in Spain, hasn't there, between coming to work for somebody else and coming to start a business, and they're treated very differently for immigration purposes.
Correct. To run a business, you can have the application of the residency as a lucrative purpose. This is an application that involves a business plan that you have to present. First thing is you have to apply that at the Spanish consulate or embassy of the country you come from. The base of the application is that you're planning to do business in Spain, and you have to explain to the Spanish authorities how you think you're going to be running a successful business in Spain, that you have already identified a locale where your business is going to be, that you have a pre-contract of rental, or you have bought that property, that you are planning to hire 1-2 people, the marketing plan, how you think that your company is going to be successful, how you're going to be dealing with the incomes, with the revenues, with your clients. So it's going to be a very thorough business plan where you can explain every single chapter in order to be a convincing business plan for the Spanish authorities. This, as well as really having a clean criminal records, as well as having a medical test at the country you come from, as well as having an insurance, health insurance arranged in Spain. And then after this, you have an interview at the consulate, at the Spanish consulate.
Is that interview always in Spanish, or can it be in your own language?
It could be in your language. Yes. It's normally in your language, because to get this type of residency, you don't need to speak the language. Yes. You need to speak the language when we talk about the having the Spanish nationality, the citizenship, yes, which we can talk some later. But for this type of residency, you don't have to speak Spanish. It will be normally in your language. But it's important to see that you are really that you have a really strong plan to operate that business.
Because, of course, the reason the Spanish want to give permits to people to run businesses is to create employment for Spanish people. They're not giving you a permit to run your own business so that you can make a lot of money. They're doing it for the selfish purposes of Spain.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the goal. Yeah.
And so, what do you have to show the immigration officer? What's he looking for? How many jobs is he expecting you to create?
There is no specific requirements about the number of jobs. One job is good enough already. The thing is, the rationale behind it is that the Spanish authorities are not only expecting you to create jobs, but you are a new company, a new business operating in Spain, which you're going to be having customers, you're going to be having more economy, you're going to be have suppliers.
So it's economic activity.
Economic activity is all that is generated from the business itself. Yeah.
Yes. So you apply for that visa, and this sounds like it's going to be quite a lot more complicated to obtain than a visa to come here, for example, as a student.
Yes, it's much more complicated, because you have to really plan many things in advance. You have to pre-contract your employees. You have to pre-contract the place where your business is going to be done. You have to pre-contract how you're going to be decorating, adapting the business to whatever you're going to be running the activity. And you have to be very convincing with the authorities that you're going to be a successful business people in Spain. Student is something very straightforward, and if you want to retire in Spain, everything you got to justify is that you have a way to support yourself or your family in Spain.
Now, I believe the fee for applying for that visa, what you pay to the government, is about €270, but that's only the beginning of it, isn't it? Because you will get quite a lot of expenses when it comes to preparing an application to come here to open a new business.
Exactly, because in many cases we also have some tax advisors, accountants at Manzanares lawyers, and we in many cases help our clients to create that business plan And sometimes we even present that business plan in Spanish, which is going to be much better understood by the officers at the Spanish embassy of their country. And so therefore, this is the dedication of many hours of work.
And there's an interesting thing, isn't there, about business plans, in that it isn't just a question of translating your business plan into Spanish, but the whole content of a Spanish business plan is different from the content of an American business plan. There's a sort of standard sequence that any Spanish company would naturally follow, which is different from what you might follow at home. So to translate your business plan is not just a matter of translating the words, it's translating the format.
Exactly, it is speaking the language and not translating the language. If you are doing English, or, well, not in this case English, but really a Colombian or Brazilian business plan, and then you are translating that into Spanish, most likely you're going to be having some fields that we don't expect this to be happening, and you most likely you're going to be having some fields that we are expecting to be included that they are missing.
Yes.
And so therefore it's got to be a very Spanish business plan.
Yes.
Ideally in Spanish, where we are tying up everything that Spanish officer is expecting to see in a business plan. So this is why building up this document becomes essential in the approval.
Do you have any idea at all as to what a typical bill for doing all of that work would be for a business coming to Spain?
I mean, the
Manzanares charges, your professional fees, that
average will be from 2,000 euros and sometimes goes up to 5,000 euros in case that the type of business that is more.
And we've talked about a visa for setting up a business in Spain. I think this is sometimes called the entrepreneurial visa as well. That's the same visa?
That's the same visa. And this type of visa or this type of residency application has had as well the new named golden visa. The golden visa is not the visa, because it's residency, right? But this is a way as well to do a business in Spain. When we are talking about doing a business in Spain, you can apply the lucrative visa residency, which is a residency, and therefore, in order to renew it, you have to have the commitment of being in Spain, to be in Spain longer than 183 days a year. If you are not in Spain this long, you will have your extension of that type of residency will be denied because you didn't really stay in Spain. You didn't have.
So if you're going to start a business in Spain, you need to commit yourself to living in Spain for at least most of the year.
Exactly. In case that of obtaining this lucrative residency, which is based on a business.
Yes.
In case that you are running a business but using not that avenue, but the avenue of the named golden visa, which is residency for investors, you don't have to comply with that minimum